Alright, y'all. Bill by Rob, and I'm on the bench today on my Outcast 8S. Just want to talk about what I do to my RC cars after I go heavy bashing like I do at the BMX park or anywhere else. Every 2 to 3 times, maybe, no, I would say 1 or 2 times I go heavy bashing like that. I bring the car inside, put it on the workbench, and I go over it for a brief inspection. You will find loose screws, broken little tidbits like this all over your car. And if you neglect these things, every time you go bashing, you will have failures as soon as you go out. So I just want to go over the car and show you guys what I'm doing. I'm not doing a full tear down today, just changing up some loose ends. Like this hub right here, there's a lot of play in it. I'm gonna tighten this up, put some spaces in there. I got a bent dog bone, and the tooth in the dog bone, I don't know if you guys can see it. It's coming out the cup because it's starting to come out. So I'm gonna replace 2 dog bones. And on the other side, I have a rod end that is real loose, and it broke on me. So it's affecting my steering. I had the V1 800 kV hobby wing in here, but I took it out because I want to cut some weight to see if I can cut down on injuries and damages after bashing. The lighter the vehicle, the lighter it is on its feet, the lighter it lands, and in theory, the less brakes you should have. But I'm just gonna try it out. So I put in a stock motor, 1250 kV, stock when the speed pinion 23, and I put the speed gearing back in here. I'm not really gonna run big power systems in these cars anymore. I really don't need it. I really just bash them at Falcon, and you don't really need too much crazy power there. Just make sure you have some good batteries and you got good gearing, and you'll be able to go. But yeah, like I said, if you don't look over these cars after a bash, you will have failures, and you'll be cursing the companies and your manufacturers because you don't look over your RCs. So get some basic knowledge on how to maintain these things. Go to YouTube University. That's what I did. That's how I learned about all my RC knowledge. So shout out to everybody that's posting content and keeping people educated. I appreciate you because I've definitely probably watched one of your vids and obtained some knowledge. So salute to you guys. And so I'm just regurgitating what I learned, and I'm giving it back to you guys. So yeah, check for loose screws, check your dog bones. And this is just my opinion. Stay away from the thick diff fluid. I know, guys, it's a whole culture, earplug culture, 20 million fluid culture. Guys love to thicken up their fluid. I'm totally against it because you will snap your CVD inboards, you will snap pins, you will blow your differentials every single time. And, unfortunately, you'll keep companies in business and make them millionaires on optional parts like, beefcake dog bones and all these type of things you necessarily don't need if you are educated and keep your fluids thin. You know how to run. I know why the guys like to run thick fluid, because they want to prevent ballooning and all these type of things. But if you could get some good tires, you run your gearing right, you won't have those issues. The thick fluid, all you're gonna do, especially when you're bashing, jumping, your car's crashing back on the ground, you're tumbling, something has to absorb that energy. And it's your differentials. Your differentials absorbs all that power and energy when you hit the ground with force, under load, when you're sliding, bashing, crashing. Your differentials absorbs that energy. So if you lock them up, where does that energy go? It goes to your pins. You start breaking these type of things, like your pins, your inboards. I've never broken any of these things because I don't run my fluid thick in the diff like that. So please, just my opinion, stay away from that stuff. If you don't want to wrench on your cars every single time, if you want to preserve your differentials, if you wonder why you blow your differentials every single time, you're probably running your fluids too thick. In my opinion, your center diff is not made to be locked up totally. Your rear, your front, those things are not made to be locked up totally. That's what keeps the car nimble, what keeps the car able to bash and crash and take the punishment that it does. I see a lot of guys get, the differentials blown, get an aluminum bulkhead, aluminum diff cases. That'll stop your differentials getting blown. No, you can have all that stuff heavy aluminum stuff, and you still blow your diffs if you run your fluids too thick. And if your style of driving is, you know, if you don't know what you're doing, you're driving. That's another thing too. Like, you're bashing, you don't know how to bash. I don't care what you do with these vehicles. You can have every upgraded part in the world, and you're still gonna break this thing. So, you know, use common sense, be practical, don't go overboard, and you know, save yourself some money. And that's what I do. If you're watching my videos, you see I send these things. We bash these things every day, 3 to 4 days a week, and I already have no upgrades on this thing. None. And I don't plan on it because I don't need it. Because it's not needed. It's not a necessity. If you're knowledgeable about fluids, if you're knowledgeable driver, and you know, you have an overall perspective, and you know, just some know-how about these cars. So that's really it, man. I'm not going to talk y'all to death. I'm getting a little repetitive. So yeah, I hope this video helps some of you guys. You know, all information out there is not good information. I don't even know if this information would be helpful for you, but it's just my opinion and my experience. Like I said, I see guys have a lot of problems with these fifth scales, Armors, and especially with their internal differentials. And I already know for certain that they're running heavy diff fluid. Or it could be another thing too. When they're rebuilding their diffs, they just rebuilding the spider gears. When you rebuild a diff on these things, you're gonna rebuild the whole thing. I mean, the diff case, the spacers that go behind the spider gears, you know, everything in those internals, in this internal diff, you want to replace. The only thing you want to, you know, reuse is, of course, your diff cups, if they're not abused, and your bearings and your pins. Everything else you want to redo, get rid of, total rebuild, and you won't have any problem with the differentials on the armor cars. Traxxas, I never have any issues with the differences in there, because I don't, you know, those they do a good job with their internal differentials. So Armor does also. I'm not starting any slight of Armor, but you know, those cars I have less problems with. Less I've seen people have less issues with, I should say. So yeah, I'm not gonna talk y'all to death. I'm gonna get this car back together. We're gonna bash it today, probably the next day, and yeah, it's gonna keep going. I love this car. Outcast is probably my favorite basher. I got an X-Max too, but nothing flies through the air like Outcast 8S or Creighton 8S. This is my opinion. So I'll get this rebuilt. Go have some fun today while the weather's good, and you should too. Built by Rob. We out.